Before we get to your scheduled video, please remember that likes and comments tell YouTube to promote our work to other people, and subscribing to the channel tells you when something new drops. You can also head to the link tree in the description to peruse my books, join us on Discord, or support us on Patreon. You can get episodes of Journey of Wrestling and Violent Profiles early, as well as a load of other treats. Even just $1 a month earns you a name drop for being cool. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show. Greetings and salutations, fellow people who have gone off their diet, as I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by the boy.
Hey.
This is the Two Nerds Podcast, and we are jauntier than usual today.
Yeah, because we've been having a good time recently, and thus we're in a good mood.
I was just talking about how you said hey instead of hey, but you segued. Mood. That's really good. I know. I'm very proud of you. You know who else I'm proud of?
Who?
Everyone who's cool.
Well, you're going to have to list those people out for me.
That does make sense. That's going to include Harmony, a guy from Ohio.
Okay.
Passion Killer, 7-Eleven.
Right.
Rob.
All right.
And Distrucity, KTL.
Okay, that's fair enough. Those are all very cool people.
The Skronk was for Distrucity.
Well, yes, this is his natural calling card.
Yeah, so why have we been having a good time over the last few days, my boon companion?
Well,
hold on. Do you think, what was his name, John Tobias? Do you think he ever called Ed his boon companion?
I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
You may be able to guess from what we're actually making a podcast about. Recently, my friend White Raven here started playing World of Warcraft again. And he's played it a few times over the years, since way back in the day, in the first 5 or so years of WoW when we started playing.
We started playing at the tail end of Wrath of the Lich King.
Like back in 2009 was the earliest achievement I found that the WoW account has, and you know, you've played it a few times over the years. Ever since I stopped, I haven't gotten back into it because when I played WoW, that's all I did. But he's been having such a great time. He's been talking to me about what a great time he's been having. Like a drug pusher. And
in my defense, when that's all you did was play WoW, we were also unemployed.
That's true.
Blissfully unemployed. Fortunately unemployed. Independently wealthy for a small period of time.
Yeah. So
what else did we have to do but play WoW and watch King of the Hill and Mystery Science Theater 3000?
So I eventually decided to hop back in as well so that we could play WoW together like we did back in our early 20s.
Yep.
And boy howdy, it's real fun. It's more fun now. They've made a lot of fun changes. They've made a lot of good quality of life improvements. It is still a very effective way to make my brain produce dopamine, and it's fun to hang out with my friend.
Yeah, those of you guys who have been watching us for a long time, you may notice we don't really do the fighting game tournament anymore. And our catch-up podcasts on random stuff we got into features less and less we played X game together. Just don't really do that anymore. And not out of any sort of malice. He and I jabber at each other for hours a day, not even including this podcast. But
it's mostly just that our interests have diverged as we've aged. And we don't really play the same video games or watch the same content unless it is for the podcast or a Marvel movie.
Yes.
So
strike while the iron's hot, I think was the idea.
Yeah, but the idea of doing just a podcast about coming back to WoW didn't quite jive because while we're having a great time, there's not a lot to of merit to say yet because we just started and we're still leveling up. We haven't gotten to any of the new content. We don't have any opinions worth merit on like the actual game.
Yeah, just guys, I'm having fun. Guys, look at how much fun I'm having.
So instead, we're going to make up some opinions about some aesthetics. We are going to do a tier list of the WoW races, as you may be able to tell from the title, thumbnail, and what you're looking at.
Yeah, we have male and female for all options. The Drakthir only has the one dragon form, even though they are different. Like different voice lines, different body shape, and everything, so I don't know why, but hey.
All right. So what are the... Oh, okay. Oh, no, okay. I haven't seen much of the Drakthir. I never see they have a human form.
Yeah, they're like
a worgen. Mm-hmm. I never see the human form. It is always the dragon guys walking around. Because why? I mean, why wouldn't you?
They're cool.
Yeah. So.
Why would you ever see the human form? Oh, you wouldn't know. Gilneans, they're so sneaky.
They're sneaky. They're sneaky Ghanaian.
All right. You were going to say Ghanalians, and
I
love that.
I
love the Ghanalians. I want them in World of Warcraft. So yeah, I guess we started at the beginning with the Blood Elves.
Yep. I would say Blood Elves. Why is there no F tier?
There is no F tier. I'm sorry. I'm slacking. I usually add that in. Add a row below. Hey, at least we don't have I literally don't know who these guys are tier.
That is nice.
Yeah. Now, we haven't played the Drakthir. We don't have that expansion. But, you know, I looked with my eyes.
Yeah, I can see them. Yeah. So... And are we just doing aesthetics, or is this also lore-based somewhat?
I think it's whatever we want because it's our show, and if the people don't like it, they can like and comment about how they wish we would do it differently, and we'll definitely cover
it's
that
still
in the
engagement.
Future. Yeah. Share the video with your friends to show how outraged you are that we didn't even...
I would say Blood Elves are pretty good. Their lore is neat. Mm-hmm. They are a very basic elf design, but they've got good... Their gear has good aesthetics.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of the gear is universal among creatures, but like the stuff that's themed to their
Silvermoon.
Yeah.
The Silvermoon stuff is pretty cool. The design of the race itself is just it's just humans with pointy ears, but they're a little broader. They're a little more pointy shaped, I think.
Yeah, they're very much your classic elves. Honestly, I'm going to say middle of the road. Let's put them in C tier.
I think so. That's pretty much what I was getting to.
I like the haughtiness of their personalities, but they're...
Now, of the two, is there a preference between male and female?
I think they're equal for me.
That's fair.
I maybe like the guys a teeny bit more, just because I really like that trope of, Liquid Snake.
I like the guys a little bit more because they have a very Bruce Timm sort of shape. They're Doritos
and pose, yeah.
And that's nice. All right, moving right along, Draenei.
I think the Draenei are very interesting from a lore perspective.
They're space aliens, and I love that because that's not something you see a lot in fantasy stories. That directly,
yeah.
Because technically they're extra dimensional, but they have a spaceship. They're space aliens.
I think they're very fascinating. WoW's lore in general is very fascinating. I saw a comic on Tumblr recently that was made of like screenshots from WoW. That was like, I'll go to the world of Thedas, or I'll check out, whatever the Witcher's land is called, but I always come back to Azeroth. There's just something about it. And while I don't have that same depth of connection, I forget how much this game's lore really inspires me.
Well, because you have everything from classic, D&D fucking Stormwind City to giant mushroom forests to broken islands in a twisting, tormented... realm. There's a lot of shit going on in Azeroth.
Yeah,
there's
lot
something
of
for
history.
everybody.
Yeah. I like them. I think they're fun. I don't really have a whole lot else to say on that regard.
I would say B tier, but I think I like the male models a little more just because there's more character to them.
Yeah, the females aren't bad by any stretch, but they are...
The females look very like 2nd edition tiefling.
Yes, I would agree with that. The Lightforged Draenei aren't all that different. I think I like the customization options with the regular ones a little better.
But they've got better color palette, so...
and that's part of it. The original ones have the better color palette. These guys got the cool little symbols, and they look cool, don't get me wrong, but they're not different enough for me to really care. We come to the Drakthir, the one we know the least about.
Yeah, I know very little about their lore because we don't have that expansion.
And he doesn't know how to read anymore.
No, I've forgotten. And I didn't bother looking it up, is more actually what happened. They're dragon guys. They got a worgen thing going on. That's neat. That's very classic dragon stuff. We can turn into people if we want.
Well, especially for WoW, yeah.
Yeah.
I often, in our private discussions, talk about how I don't really get the vibe of dragons anymore. They don't excite me like they did when I was a teenager.
Right.
And I wonder if that's just because I don't get to see them ever. Because, like, I think these guys look really fun and interesting and cool. And there's no difference except that I can actually look at them instead of them being in my mind palace.
Yeah. Well, that might be it, man. It might be just that you needed the actual visual representation. I don't have much of an opinion on them. They're pretty cool, but I don't really think... I don't have enough of an attachment to them to make them A tier or above.
Yeah, I'm going to say maybe top of B for the dragon form, and then the other ones...
I would say maybe above Blood Elf C.
But okay. I'm fine with that. I have no specific...
Because it is a pretty cool visual design.
Yeah, I haven't really played around the customization options much, but they're... it's pretty cool. It's one of those things where, like, Final Fantasy XIV also has dragon people, but you wouldn't know that if they didn't tell you they're dragon people, because they just get horns and maybe some little plate bits.
I like that these can turn into a dragon.
And they're way more dragony even without the dragon form.
Yeah.
Next are the Nightborn elves. I think these guys are cool as hell. I really like their lore.
Great visuals.
Yeah.
Love the big eyebrows. That's a thing WoW elves tend to do. They do it for Blood Elves too.
You can shorten all the eyebrows now, but like, why
would you do that?
Yeah.
It's a unique thing. Now, they do kind of just look like photo-negative Blood Elves, if I'm being real.
Well, they also get these cool tattoos that are sort of almost invisible. They only like catch the light. And
that's cool.
Their hands glow.
That is cool. They also they're differently shaped. They're much taller.
Yes, and I mean they do have other colors. You can make them. They don't have to look like Drow.
But the default is clearly Drow.
It's the one I prefer. I think these guys hit an A tier. I think really
so.
Strong.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
I know I just said photo negative Blood Elves, but that is at least a difference. And I like the female model more than the male model.
Yeah, very slightly. I would agree.
Just because it really takes advantage of the lankiness of because they're very tall.
Yeah, because you're playing. We were playing
We're playing a couple different sets of characters that we're playing as like duos, and one of them I'm playing a Magar Orc, which we'll get to later. Just because I've never actually played an Orc in World of Warcraft, despite playing it for a long time. And I played one Orc Hunter years ago. And this is a new color palette and slightly different lore, and I liked it. So I'm playing a Magar Orc, and they're pretty tall, especially the ladies because they stand upright. But
the guys can now too.
Nice. But I'm towered over by your lanky, haughty elf lady.
Mm-hmm. And it's the Blood Elves turned up to 11 as well. They're upper crust, and they've
pretty
been
much
stuck
everything
in the
that
same
makes
city
them good. Yeah, exactly, because the Blood Elves were isolated for a long time.
Yep.
These guys have been isolated for a longer time.
Yep.
It's basically Daryl and the cooler Daryl.
Yeah. All right, we go to gnomes now. We're not huge Alliance players, but we don't hate or anything.
I'm gonna be honest. This is the first one where I think there's like a full letter grade difference between the models.
Okay, I'm listening.
Whatever tier we end up putting the female gnome model at, the male gnome model needs to go at least a tier below it.
Why is that?
Because one of them's fucking ugly.
Understandable.
Female gnomes are like cool and like they're small, but they're not. They're like not. They don't look like children. Neither does, which is nice. They look like little hobbits. They look like little people. But the male gnomes are fucking ugly.
They're also
they're not cool enough to overcome it.
Gnomes are generally pretty annoying too. I'm gonna say bottom of C for female. We'll put the male gnome in D. If that's all right with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
I want to not hate them.
Same, but I mean I'm being honest here.
Yeah, it's about the honesty. Goblins, however.
The male model just completely stunts on the female model because they're ugly. It's the exact inverse. Male goblins are fucking hideous creatures, which is what I want a goblin to be.
I'm how to put this?
I see. I think I get your vibe. That's understandable.
It depends on who you're asking, I think is the crux that we're driving toward here. And you can make a very ugly female goblin. The default just is not. I think they're great. I think their personalities are great.
Goblin in general, great A+ design.
I honestly, I'd be okay with putting them in S tier.
Really?
Yeah, especially now that you don't have to do their starting zone.
Oh, yeah, S tier then.
Yeah, fantastic. We'll put the guy first for reasons.
That's fair. I don't think it's a letter. It's unlike gnomes. It's not a letter grade difference. I just prefer the male model because again, they have more character.
Look,
is a nicer way of saying it.
I think they appeal to two slightly different audiences by default.
I understand. I pick up what you're putting down, and I don't disagree.
Thank you for not making me say it out loud.
No, that's not necessary.
God, I just wanted to pull a letter, Kenny.
Do it!
No, because I don't want to end the podcast now. All right, humans suck.
Yeah, F tier. Full F tier, standard humans.
Yeah,
the full just complete failure. Back to the drawing board.
Yeah,
what is this?
The ladies are a little better. They have so little character.
Their lore is boring. Their voice acting is generally bad. Their models are boring. Not just because they're the default, they're actually boring looking.
They might have added a lot of really nice new features in the big upgrade, but I haven't really looked because I don't care.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Why would I play regular McRegular Man if look at all of the other options available to me?
Yeah. So that takes us to the cool tiers humans.
I mean, at the very least, they're better looking.
Yeah, they're bigger, they're bulkier, they all have pirate accents.
Great.
That's fun. I think they're neat.
They've got just a better aesthetic, better color palette.
I think they're at least as good as Blood Elves.
Okay, that's a little generous, but I'm willing to give it to you.
Well, we can put them a little below. I'd say they're in the ballpark.
C tier generally.
Okay. We'll put them right here. I don't know. I might like them more, but I haven't played a lot with them, so it's hard to say. Mechagnomes.
Mechagnomes do not have the problem gnomes have because the dudes are cool enough to overcome looking goofy.
I don't like a lot of their mecha parts.
That's fair. They're very gnomish in that they're very like whirligigs and like cogs, not so much. They're steampunk mecha, not.
I don't even think they're steampunk. They're just sort of.
They're just steam. They're steam aesthetic, steam core.
Yeah, they're retro. What do they call that?
You think retro futurist? They're that like ray guns and.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I just haven't looked at a lot of them.
The goblins are closer to steampunk or diesel punk, but the gnomes have no punk about them. They're
retro futurist.
There's another word and I can't think of it, but it's like the Fallout aesthetic without all the rust. Z-rust.
Yep.
But I agree with you. They do look a little bit better. I would probably.
They're more equal.
Yeah. Do we want to put them?
I would put them with the female gnome.
With the female, any better than the female gnome?
Honestly, they're about even because the dudes have enough going on to even it up.
I don't like her bangs, though. I do want to say that.
Yes, well, they are bangs,
yes.
So you will hate them.
Yes, these are okay. This little side sweep, that's fine.
You hate a flat bang.
I really, it's not. It doesn't look good.
You hate a flat bang.
I do. Undead.
Great lore, honestly.
Fantastic.
Just some of the best lore in WoW. My first character in WoW was an undead. I love their aesthetic. I love their bubbling vats of evil. The mad scientist. Yeah. I'm a Superman villain from the 40s vibe. But they are ugly as fuck.
They're a little bit better now. Like a lot of those default hairstyles, while they're still there, they've added so many more that you can make some cooler looking undead. You could even get them to where they don't have all the bones sticking out and stuff. Like there's a lot of good customization.
Oh, they imported the Chinese models?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, I mean, they refreshed everything, so there's all options available. Really, honestly, like a lot of the new options, adding tattoos and tweaking individual parts of the critters. The people.
It has helped all these races.
Yeah. Yeah, where would you put undead?
Their lore alone will get them into B tier, but they're not cool. They are too gross to get into S tier, so somewhere between A and B.
Okay. We'll slap them right here. I like the guys a little bit better than the ladies in this one.
That's fair. That's fair.
I like the jawless option with the tongue lolling out. That's fun.
And the ladies don't have that?
I don't believe so.
Or they didn't back when the last time we left.
And I don't have an undead female, so I can't check. I suppose I could if I fired up the game, but we didn't. And I'm already almost halfway through the podcast, or more than halfway, so whatever. Regular dwarves.
I would say they're better than humans by a stretch. Yeah. I would put them about the same tier as... This is going to end up being like a Gaussian distribution. I would also put them in C tier.
Yeah, I don't think they're quite as cool as the dragon guys.
No.
I do think the guys look cooler than the ladies. They've got those beards to customize, and that's really fun.
Yeah.
Dark Iron Dwarves, however...
Oh, fully, like, at least one, maybe 2 letter grades above. That is a cool fucking... That is a cool looking character.
Yeah. I'm gonna say here. And both are really cool. I love the little flames as their hair lengthens.
Yeah, just cooler looking. It's dwarves, but cooler.
It's the only allied race I actually care about unlocking is the Dark Iron Dwarves. Because I played one. I was like role-playing as one back in the day. Back the last time you and I played together 10 years ago. Before we could have
their model.
Yeah, and now they're there, and they're playable, and that's fantastic.
It is very cool.
Speaking of glow-ups, I might have put Night Elves like around C tier, low C, maybe even D, but they have done so much to these models.
Now, to be fair, I haven't looked recently. I was going to suggest D tier for them. You were like...
Oh, no, they're great now. You can like put bits of leaves and vines in your hair. They just... I mean, the model update in general looks so much better. They just looked
like goofy-ass purple elves back in the day, so...
Nah, I think they've really dug into the aesthetic.
I'm happy. Well, then put them where your heart says. Because
I think they're around the quality of the dragon guys, and you know what? C tier's pretty stacked, so let's drop them into B. I like the males a little bit better than the females.
There you go.
Because the beards again offer more options for the leaves. And
more
stuff.
customization.
Yeah. Regular orcs.
And they've been mixed up.
Yeah. Well, we'll do regular orcs.
All right, so let's make a call. Are we grading male orcs on the upright or classic model?
Both are options, man.
That's fair. That's
both.
Fair. I think the Magar orcs, I like their earth tones a little better, but maybe that just might be because I'm too used to the other ones.
Maybe.
They have cool lore. The orc lore, however, is so steeped in the setting that it's almost as default as the humans in that setting.
I find it really interesting, though. I mean, it's not even like it's that complicated. There's a lot of it, but it's pretty straightforward. It's what you'd expect from orcs. I love that they are the default playable race for the Horde, and like just to have something that's that different, because you know we didn't always have that in fantasy games, and I have to imagine that WoW was a big motivtor toward that
had
changing.
To have been,
yeah. I would say I probably do like the male model a little better.
I mean, if we're talking upright or classic, it's the same answer. I like the classic one even more because it's just it looks different. It has its own. It's visually. It has a good, effective silhouette. I know what that race is at a glance.
But the upright ones still look good. They just have a different vibe to them, and I like that vibe is an option now.
Yeah, I agree.
I wish the female orcs were a little broader. I wish they were a little closer to the difference between the Kultiran races.
I wish the dimorphism was not so strong in that race.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, where would you put orc?
I would put regular and Magar orc basically in the same place. I like the Magar orcs a little better visually.
Mm-hmm.
But B? This feels B.
B too? Do you think they're better than the Draenei?
No, not a close.
Not better than the Draenei, okay.
Better than the Night Elves, but again, I only have experience on the old Night Elves.
I'm going to suggest here, and in honor of you, we'll put the Magar a little ahead there. I'm neutral. They're both cool. Let's do... are they cooler than the...
Yeah, that's got to be a you call.
That's hard to say. let's say that.
I'm for it.
All right. Nice. Okay, we come to the Pandarin.
This one's going to be controversial. I don't actually like the Pandarin very much.
Really? I think they're great.
They're very effective. They're very well made. The design is very clear. Their aesthetics are very well constructed. It's technically well done. I just don't like it that much.
All right. There is going to be a bit of contention here. I think they look great. My biggest complaint about the Pandarin is that I don't feel like there's as much customization to them as there are for other races.
That's just
and the customization options you have are like subtle.
Well, because they are pandas at the end of the day. They're all basically the same color.
Right. You can do the red panda version with the tail, but like that's I mean, you're dealing with small differences in haircuts and stuff.
But like I will not dispute the effectiveness of the design. I just don't care about Kung Fu Panda.
They predate Kung Fu Panda, to be fair.
That is nice, but like Seinfeld also predates Friends.
Sure.
So
I also don't care about Kung Fu Panda, so I've never seen the movies, and
I do find it amusing that this and Kung Fu Panda share the dual honor of like huge parts of the Chinese culture and like government going, how the fuck did we not think of this? We love pandas, we love martial arts. How did we not make martial arts panda? I love that because that is a real thing that happened and it amuses the shit out of me, and they share that dual distinction. But I've never seen Kung Fu Panda. This also might be that Mists of Pandaria is where I dropped off WoW back in the day.
Sure.
So there's like a negative association there of I had just finished getting my raid tier gear for Cataclysm, and then I hop on the boat to Pandaria and I'm replacing my shit with greens, and it just made me feel like I was on a treadmill so hard that I stopped playing WoW. Well, so it might be like personal.
And if you'll notice, we just started Shadowlands, and it took us how deep getting into quests to even pick up gear.
Right.
That's kind of nice. It gives you a little bit of a buffer to still enjoy your old toys before acclimating to the new ones. All right, let's say I'm not a factor, and we'll meet in the middle somewhere. Let's say I'm not a factor at all. Where would you put the Pandarin?
They're done too effectively for me to put them in C tier.
Okay.
But I don't like them very much, so I wouldn't put them anywhere above B. They would end up probably low B tier.
I'm actually okay with B tier.
Because they're done, again, very well. I just don't have a fondness for them.
Honestly, I'm fine with the bottom of B tier. I feel like their customization options are really what's hurting them here. I don't feel like I can make more than maybe 4 really unique feeling Pandaren and per gender.
And that's not as much as the others.
Yeah, no. There's so much more, I feel like. Now, I haven't looked at pandas in a while because their start zone takes forever. So maybe they're a lot better now. I don't know. But here we are, and that's how I feel about it. Moving to the Tauren. We also have the high mountain variety.
Tauren, however, I fucking love. Again, this is another one where like the dude models are way above the lady models for me.
I like them for different reasons.
And that's fair.
I wish the female models were a bit broader.
The female models are too default. They don't have as much character as the male models.
The horns are a big thing. Because the models are smaller and because of their weird shape, it feels like there's less to decorate. Now they help that, especially with the high mountain and all the jewelry they've added into the customization options, but I get where you're coming from.
But across the board, Tauren are A tier for me.
Okay.
Now, I'm perfectly happy to have that disputed. High Mountain Tauren would be above regular Tauren, though, because they are cooler.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we do that. How's that sound?
I'm absolutely fine with it.
Awesome. The regular variety of trolls. Troll was my first WoW character. He's long since been deleted.
Troll is S tier. I don't...
Male troll is S tier.
Yeah, male troll is S tier. Female troll is maybe mid-A? Oh, top.
Are they better than God?
They
top?
are.
All right. I really don't like most of the female troll.
Well, for me, it's about the same level of difference as like male and female Tauren.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
There is a difference, but it's not like a full letter grade. The only one that's the case for really is gnome.
I just feel like the male has such a more interesting shape. Like, you have it with...
It's the same thing orcs and Tauren have.
Well, it is, but it's taken to extremes. Like...
Yeah, it is the most extreme.
Yeah, and just even the customization options they have for female trolls. Again, last I checked, that was years ago. I haven't really looked much recently. They don't thrill me.
Damned by faint praise. I think we got to drop them at least a letter grade down. They are still cool as hell, though.
Yeah, and they don't lose the lore or anything. So that's a fair point. I have a hard time putting them above Draenei and orcs, though.
I mean, you gotta live your truth. I was here shitting on Pandaren not 5 minutes ago, so live your truth, brother.
I tell you what, this is a bit of a compromise, but I'm gonna say right here, floated pretty high because of their sweet lore.
But
drop pretty hard because of they're just not very good. Now, by contrast, the differences between the male and female Zandalari trolls are nowhere near as strong.
Ooh, do female Zandalari trolls look more like the male models?
Well, the male models look more like the females, is a better way to put it.
Oh.
Because how the jungle trolls are all bent and hunched and rubbery, Zandalari trolls are upright and carved and poised and...
Oh, well, in that way, they are more equal, but lower.
Yeah, I think they've got a cool look. I just don't love them as much as the other trolls. What do you think? Maybe below the Tauren, below the Draenei?
I don't know much about them. I would say if they don't have the thing that makes Troll S tier is its lore and its incredible silhouette.
It's
so without
they lack the silhouette. Their lore is still pretty
their lore is still pretty good. Then I would put them in the least you could do is where female regular trolls are, and I would be comfortable up with the dragon guy.
Okay. I'm gonna say. Man, they don't have that many customization options, though, to the Draenei. So I'm going to say Zandalari here.
That's fair.
And these are fine. Like, this could go either way. We'll put it that way just for funsies. Void Elves, I am a little underwhelmed by. They do get, like, tendrils that kind of glow.
Like a Draenei sort of thing?
So, well, they're, like, void corrupted. So.
Oh, nice.
So that's not bad. You can kind of see him here on the male. And a little bit on the female there.
Yeah, I see him.
Like, that's it. Otherwise, they just kind of feel like diet night elves.
They give off vampire vibe.
Yeah, they probably have some. I'm not too deep into their lore. I haven't done much with them, but
yeah, they give off vampire vibe. I'm not familiar, so put them wherever you want.
All right. I'm gonna say that's tough. I'm saying this and I don't know them very. I don't know if I'm gonna beat here. Got a drag. Nah, dwarves are cooler. Blood elves, they're right around blood elves. Let's say there. They got tendrils, so they're cooler than the Kultirans. Yeah, that's fine. And it doesn't matter. The gender's not. They're fine.
It's medium.
Yeah. The Volpera, which was the race I unlocked back when you had to grind for that shit. I will accept all of your judgments. You guys have seen violent profiles, so
this is where you would put in the song.
I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about.
Now we're gonna do the letter kitty bit.
What do you think about them?
I don't have. They're just little. They're little guys. They're little fox guys. They're very mediocre.
Actually, I can probably improve them several letter grades by saying something the listener doesn't understand. The viewer, this is visual. They're my kobolds, but they're foxes.
Neat. You're right. That is better.
Yeah, they're a desert trading people.
Oh wow! It is right down to the bone, huh?
Who were pushed out of their original territory by evil snakes. They kind of look like
fennec foxes. So that makes sense.
They use the goblin model.
That makes them better. It doesn't get them into S tier, but I'm happy with anything below that. You're the expert. You got to put them in. I will say, based on what I can see here and what I've seen of them in game, the female model is a little bit cuter.
Yeah.
And cute seems to be what they're going for, so it's a better execution.
The male one has a lot of that rough and tumble edge to him, and I like that too. I think they do a good job with both of them. You know, I'm going to put them maybe below the Tauren.
Okay, that's fine.
I think they're really fun. They've got great lore. And they're really nice models. I mean, you know, it's the same skeleton as the goblins, but they really do something with it that feels different.
It feels unique.
Yes, exactly. It's one of the criticisms I have about the Alliance allied races is they're just different. You know, not quite a palette swap. It's more than that, but they're just the same races again. Whereas the foxes go so much more beyond, and you've got the was that the only one?
Well, there is another Alliance race we haven't covered yet.
Well, no, I was thinking about the Zandalari trolls are built differently, and the High Mountain Tauren have the different antlers. I know that's not much, but it's more than most of the allied alliance races have.
Like the new ones compared to
the allied races are the ones you have to unlock. That's really terrible.
The alliance allied races is bad. That's bad naming. Just so we're clear, that's not clear.
But you know, it is what it is. So yes, final race to judge here. The Gilneans, the Worgen.
All right. First thing we have to make a call on: does the human form bring them down? Because they have a human form and it's lame.
I forget that it's there. Like, every time I go to make a Worgen, I'm like, oh, right, I have to customize this thing I'm almost never going to use.
I will be using it as a bit.
If ever.
Yeah.
That's up to you. If you want to take it off, if you want to dock points for it.
Or do we want to just grade the thing we'll probably be playing?
Hey, I'm fine with that, too.
Let's do that.
Okay. This is one of those where I think the male model is a little better than the female. More significant than, like, the Blood Elves, but not as much as, like, the Orcs or the Trolls.
Yeah, it's a small difference. I would say it's all down to one of them being more standard human body pattern and the other one having a little bit more...
Yeah, like a feral silhouette to it.
Yeah. It's just a more interesting silhouette.
Where would you place these guys?
I like them a lot, actually.
Yeah, I like their lore, too.
I like their lore. It's very cool. They've got better voice acting than regular humans. And the werewolf forms are cool and fun to look at, and the little transformation sequence is fun to do.
Yeah, I'd say I would place, if there were just a human Worgen option, I would put them in maybe D tier above the gnome.
Just because they're better humans. They're the cooler Daryl. Yeah. But the Worgen, I don't think S tier. Do you?
Okay. You know, may I submit something?
Submit. Uh-huh. Acceptable.
So that's how we feel about tier list here.
Mostly good. Mostly WoW races are pretty cool.
And we're probably being really harsh on the humans and maybe even the male gnome.
I'm fully not. That's where they belong.
It's been a long time since I've gone through their customization options. I did briefly once after they did the rework, but like that was 3 years ago, 4 years ago at this point.
It's been longer for me, and yet I'm still confident that is where the WoW humans belong.
But
I may be being unfair to the gnome. That is fair.
Any closing thoughts? Anything else you want to say about World of Warcraft in general, or?
It's really nice to be back. I'm having a great time. I don't know how long I'll stick around, but I think
$15 a month is $15 a month.
I think I'm gonna have a good time while I'm having a good time. Is there any last thought you'd like to share?
I don't. That was very pointed. I don't know what. Goblins are hot.